Good Wednesday morning to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This Outlook video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89 through the Green Mountain State. Looking at the wide range here, a couple things to note. We do have Hurricane Epsilon. This is a Category 1 storm, tropical cyclone. It looks like it's going to stay out of Bermuda's here. It's going to spin up some pretty big ocean waves and take a track into the shipping lanes between North America and Europe. Other than that, colder air. You might notice it's all snow all the way from Alaska to parts of even interior western Canada, continuing into the Great Lakes. And there's been a little bit of overzealous snowfall in some areas right where they have the best moisture feed, the baroclinic zone, warmer air next to colder air, and been producing up to 7 inches of snowfall in some locations in the upper Midwest. And this is going to be sort of working its way into Canada again. But this trough of lower pressure located here is eventually going to shift east, but that's not going to happen for some time to come. Okay, I'm going to start out with a quick look at the climate reanalyzer, and you can see where the colder anomaly temperatures are. And right through the areas from Alaska, now it's warming up in western Alaska. That's pushing off a kind of a cold batch of air, and this covers just about Canada coast to coast and dips down into the central U.S., and it's this kind of trough of lower pressure. It's kind of shaped like this. Now let's take a look at what the European model is indicating in the days to come. This is the European Ensemble taken overnight, and what we can see is that we have warmer than normal temperatures in the west as well as across the northeast United States. This is at 850 hectopascals, roughly about the top of Mount Mansfield, measured that layer of the atmosphere. And it's a good one to see where the coldest air, warmest air is, and so forth. This is part and parcel area of low pressure associated with a tropical cyclone, and so you'll see that as well. But you can see that we kind of stay warm here. This is valid in the Wednesday night, Thursday morning period, and we continue to see another batch of warmer than normal temperatures. Meanwhile, back off the west, we're starting to see some inroads here and lower latitudes of some of that colder air that's kind of slipping in. This is warmer than normal, of course, and you can see it's running about 12 to 15 degrees above normal, and this is valid for our Friday. It moves on out. Some of that colder air begins to push on in. This is what we're going to see on Sunday when the temperatures do drop significantly. Days basically held in the 40s on Sunday, and then that gets pushed on out by another warm front, and it delivers yet again another shot of warmer air. So we're still seeing these kind of oscillation patterns with the coldest temperatures really remaining off to the west, and a lot of this coming in parts of eastern Canada and so forth. European incrementals look like this. We have our frontal boundary that's working through. It could produce some embedded thunderstorms very briefly across the northern one half of the state. That kind of gets wiped out. We turn partly cloudy overnight. That sets up with kind of a weak area of higher pressure and much better conditions during the day on Thursday. It looks like 2 dry days, Thursday and Friday. Good project weather indicated. Take advantage. And 1030 hectopascal surface high to the north across Quebec. This is valid tomorrow evening. That then pushes on out. We do have a little bit of precipitation. This is a relatively new thing. I think it's going to be very scanty and mostly associated with very light drizzle. And then that kind of gets wiped out. We get better conditions with improving conditions in the afternoon on Friday, although Friday has gone downhill just a little bit in the last 24 hours of model guidance. By the way, this is Tropical Cyclone Epsilon, Hurricane Cat 1. That might be a Cat 2. That's going to be taking a track toward the shipping lanes between North America and Europe. We have another frontal boundary that's going to work on through. Although it's kind of moisture starved, it doesn't quite have the feed from the Gulf of Mexico, at least in our neck of the woods. As you can see, light precipitation that will work on through along about Saturday. That's followed by this area of higher pressure that's going to be ridging across Canada. It's going to set the stage for about a 1029, 1030, 1035 high pressure center to the north of us, ridging in, and this is valid on Sunday. So Sunday is looking like a cold, kind of late autumn kind of day, and where temperatures will be held basically in the 40s. And we get into Monday, this weather system will begin to work on in. It'll have probably a little bit of gradient wind issues. But Monday, we're also looking at the possibility of a warm front, a little bit of thunderstorm activity, is very minor signal. at that point in time. Notice the snow and freezing precip is to the north. But look at this trough of lower pressure that drops in the west. This is a continuation basically into the west and central part of North America, sees the most in the way of colder weather. Now eventually that trough is going to push on to the east, and it's here next Wednesday. This is valid Wednesday morning. We might actually see a little bit of wet snowflakes mixed in with some raindrops. That's a long ways out, but that is the trend, and there's where the coldest weather is going to be. A ridge of higher pressure builds back across the west, and it looks like that trough will establish itself a little bit better in the east. And these incoming short waves could mean a little bit of wet snow late in the week, not till next week. We're talking about as we get closer to the start of November. 3-hourly QPF of the Jeff's model, the Canadian and GFS Ensemble, and you can see just little incremental shots of precipitation, something much better as we get closer beyond next weekend, actually. And then the total QPF is really nothing major here. We're well under ½ inch. This is 1 inch, 1.5. And you can see that once we get past into the 26th, 27th, we'll start to see and accrue maybe much better rainfall at that point in time. The main storm track of this week comes out of the lower plains and into the northern Mississippi Valley, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and sort of north of Vermont, but you can see we're into that just a little bit. This is 7-day total precipitation. 2-meter temperatures, you can see kind of a drop off here after the 25th and beyond. And the 850 hectopascal temperatures, roughly the top of Mount Mansfield, looks like this. That would indicate snow, that would be rain, that would be snow, and so forth. Weighted high temperatures, the meteorological output statistics, you can see just how doggone cold this is. Look at this, minus 33 degrees. This is fairly significant here in places like Montana into the Dakotas. It's well below normal for this time of year. That is very significant. What about 3 days later? Notice that we're warm here. Oh, some inroads. -3 to neutral, +3 in southern Vermont. Of course, that's going to change eventually. Tropical activity continues. Still, we're talking about Hurricane Epsilon, Category 1, that's going to stay to the east of Bermuda, take that wide curve, and then out into the shipping lanes. And a little closer look at Epsilon. You can see Category 1 hurricane. This is Bermuda, and it's going to swing wide right and then out. This is North Carolina, Delmarva, and so forth. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.